Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekend. One topic that is emerging from last week and something that's been kind of like on my mind, and I think a lot of other players' mind at the moment, is prestige. Even though, on a positive side of things, my element of entry to the top 30 prestige, which you can see the bottom right hand corner, it was originally around about 4. And of course, now is up a bit further. It's kind of like up to what is it up to there? Like 24,700 or 25. There's kind of like number 8. Let's go with number 8. It's around about there, number 8. Right? That is better than it was. It's a bit better. It's not completely brilliant, but let's face it, getting all the way up to the top end of here, the 39,000 mark, for a non-spending player is pretty difficult. You're going to have to be engaged with every single bit of content Kabam are putting out. And of course, the biggest thing about, and the focus of this video, is Radiance, because I come to you at a turn of the tide where a decision to spend your Radiance or start spending your Radiance, and you might have already spent your Radiance, is that the way to go with things for the future? Because I know a lot of people were desperate and have been desperate to spend their Radiance right now, and that's fine, you know, that's all well and good. But Kabam did say last month, or not last month, this month, for the October release or more details. Well, it says coming October, so you'd assume that it's like, well, you'd find out what's happening with it soon. Is why did people spend their Radiance? Like, if they knew that there was going to be changes coming up, why did you spend your Radiance? Could it be something where they devalue tier 7 basics? Then you go, well, why did you spend your Radiance? That again is going to be something that's going to be either weighing on people's mind. But I understand why people are spending their Radiance right now. And it is trying to get that prestige bump. People were targeting certain things within the Radiance store, which is going to elevate their roster, namely the tier 7 basic. I mean, I did as well spend on the Titan Crystal Shards, mainly in order to bulk up a video, but that's on me. And I'm being very, very careful about Radiance. One thing I did say is that I do think people should hold on to the Radiance until the end of the year before making a decision, or at least to October, because Kabam will rebuff these particular stores regularly. And if they're buffing them or changing them regularly, it means that they're going to devalue and depreciate. So just haplessly spending your Radiance isn't actually the wisest decision you could make. We're also some ways away from finding out about this solo event. Kabam have said that a new solo event is coming into the game. Here's the information from, I think it's like Dev Diary or something. This is an official MCOC based thing. It said that, and a new game mode, and that game mode will fill in the missing piece of the puzzle. Like Alliance Quest, it will focus on roster strength as the main driver for success, but it will be a solo ranked experience rather than one that forces you to rely on other summoners. More details about that mode can be expected this year. But also that particular mode, as Kabam Saurus Rex, Karate Mike says, still very actively in development. The initial teaser was a very early one, still on pace for more details later this year. So it is ways away. And if it's a ways away, then that means that there's probably going to be a huge amount of Radiance that is going to be in this. Why do you think that, Rich? Well, again, that goes back to another thing that Kabam put out, which was you could get, there we go, there's the image I wanted, Magik. So the recent buffing of Magik, or to be buffed version of Magik, which should be entering into game soon, is going to be a chase. You know, it's going to be like Deathless. It's either going to be like over the course of the year, you'll get Magik, but those that are very competitive will get Magik sooner. That's how I'm theorizing that particular chase element to it. And that's largely because this year's been all about those idle champions, highly competitive to get, but not inclusive for all, unless you spend a bit of money. For players in 2026, I feel that getting Magik is going to be more about you farming it through competitive means or highly engaged content like the new solo mode that's coming into game. That's what I'm theorizing. The way I kind of like have that particular theory kind of backed up, it goes back to an old post that we covered on the channel about 2 months ago. Do you remember this? We talked about it. It was the chase resource versus how much we think Magik is going to be per piece, where Kabam Crash said that the purpose of including Magik in the store is to create a chase for players earning huge amounts of Radiance. Until we get more data, I can't say how much it will cost. We still haven't had a non-borked Battlegrounds season. I'm confident, though, that it will be a lot more than 250k, given players in top alliances earn way more than that every month. It won't be all at once, though. Players will gather pieces over time. And that's what I'm kind of like theorizing, that it will be quite expensive. Will it be 500k per piece? Well, this then puts it back to a weird, as I've said in MCOC, history always repeats itself. What do you mean by that? Well, anybody remember loyalty? And does everyone remember chasing the likes of Unstoppable Colossus? Yes, that old chestnut. History repeats itself. But granted, it wasn't Magik. It's not been a hugely buffed or kind of rework champion that's going to be super spicy good and whatever. But it's still something that history repeats itself. So if we cycle back through what is important and finish off the video on this particular point around what is a priority now and the future, I'm looking at all of this in a completely different way to other people, and that's fine. You're open to your own avenues and alleyways on how you progress through, hold your resource, save a resource, whatever you want to do with your roster. And I have said, I wanted to hold on to my Radiance until the end of the year to survey how things have changed. I don't want to spend huge amounts more Radiance now, because I know that next month it could be devalued or depreciated. Now, I might have made a bad decision in that. You could, it's again debatable whether or not I made a wrong decision in purchasing the Act 9.2 15k bundle, although Kabam went and said it's going to be exactly the same value going into 9.3's offer. So I don't feel quite so bad about it. Yes, I lost out on a 7-star StatCast, but I ain't making any kind of huge gains with my prestige at this moment in time. And that's the quandary, isn't it? Boosting your prestige. In this store right here, you either make a decision now to spend all of your Radiance, or most of it, or when you get it, regularly spending it on things like the Tier 7 Basic, the 7-star Signature Stone Crystal +5, or the generic +5 7-star Signature Stones, which again, all helpful stuff. In order to boost your relics, you might go for the Tier 4 Basic Alloy. You might even go for the basic, depending if you've blasted through, and a lot of people have blasted through stuff and get a huge amount of Radiance, so therefore get a blast through it. But obviously for lower end people, non-competitive and just casual relaxed people, you may kind of like, you know, not have enough to do everything and buy everything, or you may be saving up to have a big spend. But I would welcome that big spend being in October rather than now in September, because it's not going to be reworked now. So fingers crossed for a devaluation, and of course more value to your Radiant spend, which is the most crucial thing that I want people to take away from this video. You may even be kind of tempted by the 7-star Signature Stones, because Awaken a Champion, it starts you on your building of a certain champion further. Like if you've got, oh, an unawakened ranked 3 or rank 4 7-star, and you're like, okay, well, you know, what am I doing with this? You get the Awakening Gem, you put it on, you then start boosting the Signature Stones up massively, and then, hey presto, you know, it's going to be like a bit better than it was, because it's not just about Awakening, it's kind of like less down the priority, but it's still something that could, you know, help out and improve, especially with Signature Stones. Apparently, I think was it Kabam Crash that it doesn't mean a lot, but like anything, it's something, and when you're looking for that slight small edge that may set you over that threshold to another up in the adaptive difficulty, then of course, you know, you're going to be doing that. The other stuff that you could be quite interested in within the Radiance store is going to be things like Tier 4 Alpha. Yep, still a chase resource. I'm always very careful with what I'm ranking up, how I'm ranking up, because I'm getting Tier 4 Alpha, fine. Tier 7 Basic, not so much. So would I spend in the Radiant store? Again, I'm waiting towards next month for more stuff. There's little things as well, like if you do it more Battlegrounds than you are arena farming, then you'd probably go, well, I need units. Some people grab that. I think I've even grabbed it once, because it's like not too much on your Radiant spend, but again, same principle, like, well, what's going to happen next month? Is it going to be depreciated? We don't know. We'll have to see on the live stream announcement at the end of the month. There's also a few other things like revives. Great for non-spending players. You need look to hold them for so the stash is not going over certain amounts. The health potion as well, very rare to get because level 6s aren't really out quite so much for people unless you spend a lot of units out of the end of event quest deals. Do they still have event quest deals? They might do. If not, it's in there. And maybe tier 6 class catalysts, which I know still have some value to players. So the importance of prestige at the moment is on this kind of rocky type thing with hoarding. And I'm not saying go either or either. I'm just simply saying if you've got a load of Radiance, think about saving it until next month just to see what these new changes are going to be to the store and whether or not you could scoop a bit of value for Radiance spend versus more value than you have now. But there's no wrong answer to this, but prestige, hoarding for Magik or for depreciation deals or better deals or other reasons, it's a very different. You're in a difficult scale of kind of like, are you in the right or are you in the wrong? And I think at this moment in time, unfortunately, both camps are right. But I think you might be slightly wrong if you spend now. Might be best to wait until next month to find out what these changes are and when they're going to come in. But anyway, I can leave you that thought when it comes to Radiance. Thanks very much for watching. Please check out some other content and support the channel. And also on mobile, please consider hitting the hype button because it helps support creators. And as well, it's free. So that would be very nice if you could do that. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye.